Welcome back. I'm Troy Hazard, and we are getting down to the business of franchising this week. And joining me is my guest co-host Katrina Mitchell from franchisespeakers.com. And over the years, you've introduced me to some really interesting people, and we've just talked to one for the last few segments in Don Wilson. He's an extraordinary fellow.
Yeah.
I am so looking forward to going out to Boise and hanging out with him for the weekend just to hear the story.
It'll be an amazing experience. I mean, he really is a franchise legend.
Absolutely. He started with McDonald's when there was 18 outlets. 18.
Yeah.
I just still can't get my head around that. You've also introduced me another great company in Murphy Business Systems. I spoke at their conference a year or so back. These guys are also one of the legends in the industry, in my view.
Yeah, amazing folks. From the moment that I connected with Roger Murphy on the phone, I think it was 3 or 4 years now, I knew instantly that this was the type of franchise company that we wanted to work with. And the more I find out about these guys and the more I get to know them, the more respect I have for them, both from as a franchisor and the relationship that they create with their franchisees, but also in the business brokerage arena, because buying and selling businesses, there's some big dough on the line.
Oh, absolutely.
And you want to make sure you're dealing with a company that has the highest standards.
Yeah, and on the line we have Tom Miller from Murphy Business. Mate, thanks for dropping in.
Yeah, good to have me on.
Mate, we've been talking about this whole franchise category, and of course some people will recognise what franchising is all about, and others not so much. For those that are kind of listening and watching at the moment thinking, I wouldn't mind getting into franchising and maybe getting out on my own little business and looking for a franchise system that I might find as my next little home, how do you steer me on a path to make sure that I've got the right fit, that I'm with the right group, that I've got the right match for what I'm trying to achieve in my personal life?
Well, Troy, it's a great question. People come to us all the time and they say, put me in a franchise where I can make the most money.
Of course.
And I would like to do that. That'd be a great business. That would be a great business to get into. But the truth of the matter is that when you're looking for a business or a franchise, you need to find something that's going to be good for you and your family. Something where you can make the money that you need to make in it. And something that allows you to get up every morning, go to work, whatever that may be, and enjoy what you do.
Right.
I mean, franchising, it's not your typical entrepreneur or buyer who buys a franchise. In many cases, this is a forced entrepreneur. These are people who are great corporate folks, who are well educated, have tremendous backgrounds, and their reward for being so valuable is that their company drop kicks them to the curb when they reach their 50s.
Yeah.
So do you start them with this whole line of questioning of what do you want to be when you grow up? What's passionate to you? What are the things you're interested in? Do you go down that line to try and understand more about the individual before you try and match a business?
And many times you do. If the person has a good business background, you kind of want to find out what is the thing that makes them really want to get up in the morning. What do they enjoy doing? A lot of times they have spent the last 25 years working and not enjoying what they've done. And so whether they enjoyed it or they didn't, we need to find out those things that are going to make them happy for their next years. Because this typically, the franchise that they get into, in many cases, this is their last employment.
Right.
And it's going to be self-employment. And it needs to be something that really rings their bell but allows them to take care of themselves and their family, and it allows them to enjoy what they do. And so, we're going to ask them questions to find out what rings their bell. And
when Katrina was saying this earlier on in the show, you were saying that's what got you into your first franchise, wasn't it? You were excited about something.
Yeah. My friend called me and said, how about an opportunity to have a franchise where you train dogs? Yeah.
And so there's a checklist after that, then, no doubt, that you need to step me through to say, okay, like Katrina, we've identified that you've got a passion for working with dogs and you love animals. What next? What's the next series of questions that are going to be important to me?
Well, everybody thinks they know what they like. What we've discovered is we start walking them through a little bit backwards to find out what they really don't want to do. 8 out of 10 people come to us and say, "Oh, I want to be in food. I want to have I want to own a McDonald's."
Yeah.
And I've spent the last 31 years. That's how long I've been in franchising now. I spent the last 31 years talking most people out of going into the food business.
Well, for sure. I mean, I used to work with a lot of pizza chains years ago, and one of the big things was, do you want to come home at midnight smelling like pizza and garlic? Or do you want to stay on your feet all day making coffee? You might like to drink coffee, but it doesn't mean you want to make it for 8 hours a day.
Oh, absolutely. That's why they need to be able to look at a few things. You know, what I've discovered, Troy, over the years, that a lot of times the franchise that is ranked number one is not the number one franchise for most people.
What a good line. What a great line. So then how do you identify what is a good franchise when you're going through that system?
Well, you need to find out, you have to look at where they live and what their background is. If they're in Billings, Montana, it's going to be an entirely different opportunity if they're in the San Diego area.
Right.
There's going to be different businesses that match different areas across the country. Also, you're going to be able to get into your business many times less expensive in the smaller rural markets. Mm-hmm. And so we want to look at everything. We want to look at their backgrounds, where they live, what they enjoy, what are their hobbies, and does their family back them?
That's a good point. I mean, I think over the years I've seen lots of franchisees fail, not because of the system, nor because the business is not strong. It's just because they've not had that family support that that they need when they come home after a long day at their new office or their new place of work.
Well, Troy, I can't tell you how many times I've invited the buyer to bring in a spouse and their children into a meeting.
Yeah, great.
And one of the great traumas in life is whoever the breadwinner is in the family, or if it's a husband and wife combination, for them to change jobs is as big a trauma as moving.
Yeah, absolutely. Mate, so this is a complex issue, and I'd love to have you back to talk a little bit more about how that A to Z steps that we need to take to get into business. But in the meantime, give yourself a free plug. Where do people find you if they're looking to get into franchising or just get into small business in general?
Well, Murphy Business, we're the number one ranked business brokerage franchise in America now. We're at murphybusiness.com. And we'd love to talk to you. We go through the same steps with you for our business as we would to show you any other business.
Wow.
We have a raging advantage in that we are a full-line business brokerage franchise company, and we're a full-line franchise brokerage company.